Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. I received an audio and it sounded funny. So I asked the person, the audio sounds funny. What's up with it? They said, well, we know that you don't want to see anything with this guy. So they actually sent it was a video, and they sent the audio of the video because, you know, the guy he gives me the heebie-jeebies when I look at him. It's like, I can't look at that particular person. But anyhow, the person was saying on the audio that inmates from the hotel in St. Philip, also known as Dodds prison, they were at some kind of program, some kind of farm program or whatever. But anyhow, they were out doing something, the inmates now, and they were drunk when they returned, and they were so drunk that they had to go to the infirmary, and then some had to go to the A&E at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. And the person that was talking was saying that one of the prisoners was pleasuring himself and the other one was going crazy all over the hospital. And the person talking was saying that how could that have happened at the prison? But the person talking was also a resident of that same prison system. In fact, most of his life. And he got drunk too when he was at prison. And he pleasured himself too when he was at the prison. In fact, you see the young boys that are going into the prison system, you saw them online recently. He would have been there waiting for those young teenage boys to come into the prison. And we know already that he is on the list, the offenders list. He would have his way with those young boys coming into the system. So everyone gets drunk. Everyone can get drunk. Maybe I should have said it that way. Everyone could get drunk. Some people get drunk on power, which comes with the money. Some people will get drunk on the power because they think that they control a certain area. And there are people who are in the prison system that they are too drunk. They too get drunk on power because they could be running a certain cell block. They could be in charge, and that's the man for that cell block, or that's the person for that cell block. So people, there are all kinds of ways people can get drunk. All sorts of ways people can pleasure themselves. And the person who is talking, at first, I saw it last night, and I just tossed it aside. But after coming back from a run, you know, sometimes you clear your head when you're running. I'm like, he has a lot of nerve. He has a lot of nerve talking about anyone when he too got drunk, when he was in the system, a system that he spent most of his life in. And the drunkenness that he experienced was when he heard that the young boys were coming in. That's how he got drunk. Okay, it may not have been spirits and alcohol, but he got drunk on knowing that they were coming in, and he too, like he said that someone was pleasuring themselves, he too pleasured himself when he was in the system, but he did it not with a bottle and alcohol, but with young, very young people, young boys who were being sent to the hotel there in St. Philip. So I say this to you. I say this to you so you understand that when people are speaking, when anyone is speaking, you have to ask them, what about you when you were in the system? You know he was in the system. What about you when you were in the system? Were you ever doing what you're what you're talking about now? Maybe you should tell us about yourself. Maybe you should tell us about yourself, not hide it up and get angry when people talk about it. That's the thing about him. He gets very angry if someone were to bring up his past, but he has no problem. He has no problem telling you about the drunken state that some inmates were in when he too was in a drunken state, and they call it buggery, like, buggery. They have a name for it. It's the grape word, the grape, we can't say the R word. So yeah, he is that. He is on the offenders list, the S offenders list, okay? That's what he is. So which would you rather, to conclude this, which would you rather? Which would you rather? Someone picking up a bottle and getting drunk, or someone picking up your son and getting drunk? Which would you rather? Which would you rather? Spirits in a bottle, or someone has your child bent over? Which would you rather? This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.